Are y'all seeing things, or are you seeing just a green screen? There it is. I see it now. All right. Now we are good to go. So hello, and thank you all for joining us today at the Open Texas Conference. The Open Texas Conference is sponsored and convened by two cooperating organizations, the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, the state agency that serves as a resource, partner, and advocate for the Texas higher education community, and the Texas Digital Library, a library consortium providing services that enable free and open access to scholarly, cultural heritage, and educational materials. My name is Aleida Cantu-Lee, and I am a director in the Division of Digital Learning with the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, and I will be your moderator for today. We welcome you to introduce yourself and ask questions in the chat. Please feel free to turn on your webcams, but please mute your mic unless you're speaking. Also, please be aware that we are recording this session today. Recorded sessions will be available within the conference attendee hub for 30 days. Following the 30 days, the recordings will be accessible through the Open Texas YouTube repository, and I will add that link in the chat so that you can save it here in a second. I will also place a link to the conference code of conduct in chat for your information and so that you can review that as well. So now, this session is titled Using Generative AI and OER, How to Create Sustainable Supplementary Materials. Thank you all again for joining us today, and I will now turn it over to our presenters so that they could get started.
All right. Hello, everybody. It is so nice to meet you all. I will open up my PowerPoint here in a minute, but first I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Dr. L Colley. I'm at Texas Wesleyan University in Fort Worth, Texas. And I have started the OER journey, I guess it was last year. And the biggest challenge that I had in OER was there were not really supplementary materials for the OER that I chose. So I have been working this whole time to try to figure out how to make that happen. So I hope this presentation helps you all understand how you can do that as well. So let me share with you. All right. And if you see at the very bottom, one of the things I wanted to do and make sure that you all understood was that letting people know that you're using AI is really important. And so I actually created 3 presentations. I created one using Magic School AI. I created one using Gamma, which is an AI presentation tool. And then I created one that I created with stuff from Magic AI, Gamma, and then also PowerPoint Designer. So you probably already know this, but PowerPoint Designer is an AI tool that allows you to have some really cool graphics added to your designs when you're doing PowerPoints. So here's this challenge. I'm sorry.
Before you move on, I just want to let you know that you're in presenter mode on our side, and I didn't know if that was what you're meaning to do.
Yeah, I was meaning to be in presenter mode.
Okay.
But if you guys would rather see me too, that's fine.
No, I mean, on the slideshow is on presenter mode, not on regular slideshow mode.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. Righty. So can y'all still see? Right. All right. So there's this big challenge in my estimation with OER. And we've had this challenge in our actual university and trying to get people to adopt OER. Faculty really like the supplementary materials. You know, it makes your job easier a lot of times. You have PowerPoints that are there already. You have test banks. You have other types of materials that are available to you when you purchase a book or you have your students purchase a book from a standard traditional publisher. And so it makes it really easy as a faculty member to implement the courses. If you're teaching adjunct, you don't have to create a lot of different things. It's already there for you. Just it's a easy thing. So a lot of our faculty, especially who have been doing this for quite some time, don't want to have to change everything, including the book and coming up with all of these different things. So it's a huge gap. There are not really that many supplementary materials, and it makes it really less attractive to faculty because then you have to do everything yourself. So generative AI offers a solution to that lack of supplementary materials. And here's how it does. Here's an example right here. So this is something that I created from one of the OER textbooks that I've been using for my class. And it is a 10 bullet point list of ideas that are supposed to be the key ideas from that particular chapter. And I used a generative AI called Magic School to create that. Magic School has a lot of different capabilities in terms of creating content for your classes. So this was really helpful. And I'm using this on my Canvas right now, and students use it to help them with skimming because, as we may have figured out by now, most of our students don't read very much anymore unless they realize they have to read something because they don't understand it. So some of our more common supplementary materials are, of course, the test banks. Years ago, when I taught a class, I had test banks, presentations, there was a study guide, there were quizzes, there were all different kinds of tools that I could use, and I often did use them. So I relied on that. Well, not having those has been a challenge. So creating these has helped a lot. And then, of course, you can tailor those materials. So I am at a Hispanic serving institution. We are also a minority serving institution. So the preponderance of our students are POC, people of color. And they are also first generation college students. A lot of textbooks that are traditional textbooks or traditional materials used in classes don't contain examples that are like my student population. So you may not have, I teach strategic communications and I teach journalism. Much of the journalism is focused on your standard, typical how to for CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, New York Times, whoever. Very, very focused on traditional journalism. And there's not a lot of information about publications that are designed for specific audience, like tribal, Black, Hispanic, or Spanish language. We have a huge Vietnamese population in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and there are some Vietnamese publications, but you don't really have examples of that. So having this capability with AI, you can generate materials that are specific to your students and your classes. That really makes it more relevant for them. It aligns with your courses better too, and it can enhance engagement. So when students see people like them, see examples like them, it makes things a little bit real. They understand all of a sudden this is something that I could do. So for instance, probably about 8 years ago, we had somebody come in and they did a presentation, an entire presentation on Hispanic media. And this was someone who was interviewing for a job, and we were not a Hispanic serving institution at that time. We were really close to being a Hispanic serving institution. And I had probably 5 or 6 students in my class who were Hispanic students. And after the presentation was over, they were like, oh my God, they look like me. They look like me. And it made it very real to them that, yes, they could do this. So having these types of tailored materials can be very, very helpful.
Uh,
Sorry about that, everybody. So when we're looking at the different types of materials we talked about before that you can get from AI, you can get practice questions, quizzes, you can get study guides and summaries, presentation slides, discussion prompts, interactive simulations, and I'll tell y'all a little bit about one of those here in a minute because it's really, really cool. And you just input your OER content into the AI tool, and then you tell it what you want, and then review and refine it. So this summer, actually, this past year, I guess it's actually been 3 years, we were supposed to do something for assessment, and it was to design a grammar, spelling, and punctuation exam for our students to take at the beginning of the semester. So I went into AI and I created a grammar, spelling, and punctuation test, 20 questions at a time, because that's the maximum number I could get from Magic School. And I used specific prompts to get specific types of grammar issues. So, pronoun, antecedent agreement, subject verb agreement, whatever, all the different ways. And then I came up with, it was like 100 questions, and I narrowed it down to 50. And then I went in and edited the questions. And it saved a lot of time. And it's been something that has helped guide our students in learning how to actually do a little bit better with their grammar, spelling, and punctuation. So again, like I said, you could tailor your materials to your institution. Your local context is very, very important. So you can incorporate regional examples, case studies that are relevant to your institution. Maybe it has something to do with your student demographics, adjust the language a little bit. And everybody has institutional goals. We generally have objectives for all of our classes as well. And so you can really align everything to your specific learning objectives and your specific college and university's goals. And it's easy. You can integrate it easily, seamlessly blend it in to your content that you're presenting in class, to your Canvas, Blackboard, whatever your learning management system is. And as you can see, this says at the bottom, made with Gamma. This entire slide, I didn't change anything. It was made with Gamma. So Gamma and it created all of the slides in, less than 5 minutes. It was really nice. So, and we all know ChatGPT. We know it very well. It's very versatile. It's text-based. So if you're looking to create PowerPoint slides, it doesn't do a very good job. Not something I would recommend, but it is great at a study tool for students. And so I teach a class now. It's academic success experience, and my class is specifically for international students. So I have had them use ChatGPT and of course Grammarly, but I've had them use ChatGPT to help them study. So we talk about creating flashcards and, different kinds of questions for maybe a math class, because all of them pretty much have math. So using a prompt that's act as if I am a college student in college algebra studying whatever. Create me a set of 10 problems. And that can help you with studying as well. Canva AI, if you're not familiar with what Canva is, it is a visual aid and presentation type of thing. You can also do video cutting with it now, but it has AI baked into it. All pretty much the design tools have AI baked into them, and they will help you with issues that you may be having problems with. So Canva is a good tool as well. Quillbot you can use for paraphrasing and summarizing. Quizlet, some of you probably already have used. Flashcards, quiz creation. Grammarly, of course, as I said. Midjourney is an AI image generation for visual content creation. And this particular one was not listed on there, but this is Magic School. So this is just an example of what Magic School looks like. Just one screen, okay? You're going to have to scroll down, because if you go to Magic School, you will see that this screen is one of about 3 if you scroll. It has great tools with it. I've used the rubric generator. I've used the text summarizer. I've yet to use the YouTube video questions. I've also used the presentation generator, which if you go to the information on this particular app for the conference, you'll see that there are two presentations on there, and then there's one that has my name, starts with it. Those two, one was created by Magic School, and it's text only. So very boring, not very exciting, but you can actually have it. Worksheets, multiple choice quizzes, lesson plans. There are so many different things that Magic School has, and it is free. So you pay for it, but everything that you need is free, so you don't necessarily have to pay for it. And if you are ever not sure what kind of artificial intelligence app is out there for you to do something, if you go to there's an AI for that, you will find lots and lots of tools to choose from. And they are updating it daily. So by the month, it tells you what's been updated, what's been added, all these different new AI tools that are available to you. Yesterday, I was in another conference. It was a virtual conference presented by NBC, and they were talking about journalism tools that people are using, AI ones. And there are quite a few of them that they're using. Otter, some other ones that are transcription tools. So it's to either transcribe podcasts, video, or if they're interviewing people, it's a way for them to be able to automatically, pretty quickly after they've interviewed somebody, transcribe it, take a look at it, make sure that, the words are actual and not something strange, and then use that to help in writing stories. So there's really a lot of great tools out there. One of the things that people have asked me about, and one of the things that we've talked about at Texas Wesleyan, are the legal issues associated with AI. And then, of course, we have in process an AI policy that's continuing to be a moving target, and probably will be for many years. And as we were talking about it in our academic affairs meeting last week, one of the things that I said was that I was not really comfortable in, and it's actually not legal, to take student content and put it into an AI that has, no filter. It's out there in the public. That's problematic because AI uses the information that you feed into it. So generative AI creates stuff from things that are out there. When you feed things into it, it becomes part of that atmosphere. Generative AI cannot be copyrighted right now. So whatever you create, it has no copyright that has attached to it because it's not yours. You didn't create it. Generative AI did. And so the copyright issue is something I think is going to be a challenge because it's copyrighted from somewhere. It's drawn from somewhere, and usually it's drawn from copyrighted material. AI generated materials can be used in OER. You want to check the licensing agreements from those AI apps. And you also want to check your institution for ethics and any policies related to AI, because most institutions now do have policies related to AI. And err on the side of caution by being transparent about your AI usage, which was why I put that on the slides and made sure that I told you that I used AI to help me create this, which this is an AI presentation, so I thought it made perfect sense to use AI to help. It did take me quite a few more hours than it should have, even though I did use AI. But you have to play around with the tools, and that will help you in terms of what you can and can't do. But I would love to answer any questions if you have them.
Feel free to come off mute if you have a question or you'd like to maybe expand on an idea or a point that Kay made. All questions are good questions.
Well, I have a question of y'all. Who has heard of Magic School? Have any of you heard of Magic School before? It's great. If you have a few minutes, I would take a look at it. I see that there are some other that people that have asked questions. So the real takeaway is that generative AI is a responsible way that actually takes more time rather than saving time. Well, for this presentation, it took more time because I wanted to make sure that I was trying some tools and telling so that I could tell you about those tools, which is why it took more time. And then I didn't want to just use what was generated. I wanted to put my own information in there as well. So that's why it took me more time. I could have easily, because the Gamma PowerPoint, if you go to the Open Texas 2024 link and see the 3 different presentations that are in there, you'll see a huge difference between all 3 of them. So the one that says Colley is the one that I created using some stuff from both of the different other ones. One of them is just text. It's in a PowerPoint, but it's just text. And how exciting is that? And then the other one is the one from Gamma, which has some good things in it and some things it's just like, okay, that doesn't, why do you have that? That doesn't make sense. They just, throw this image in here because we need to throw an image in there. But quizzes, oh my gosh. Fast, and you copy, paste the chapter or section that you want. Take a look at the quizzes, make sure that the answers are correct. It will cut your time in not half, more than half. So fast. So I would say, use it for the things that will save you time and not necessarily the ones that will not.
There's another question that asked, how do you recommend being transparent when using AI? And I know you talked a little bit about that, but maybe some other examples.
So with quizzes, I haven't told the students that I used AI to create the quizzes. I have told our faculty that I've used AI to create quizzes. And according to our current guidelines in academic affairs, there's nothing wrong with that. I do tell the students how they can use AI to create quizzes for themselves to help quiz themselves before an exam. So I think once you get into things like editing of audio, video, and creating presentations, or visuals, that's when you really want to make that transparency a priority and say, created with or assisted with or something like that. But your quizzes and your tests and things like that, I don't think the transparency is really necessary there.
All right, just going down the list here. Question is, did you give your supplementary material to the OER universe?
Not yet, but I have, it's on my OER book that I'm working on right now. So yes, I am going to do that. And there was something that I wanted to mention, the simulations it talks about in the PowerPoint. There's a huge simulation tool that is available to everyone in the OER universe. And it's from a Norwegian company. And I went to OE Global last year and they presented on it. And it is a fabulous tool. It's through H5P. So you have to have that particular HTML in your OER for it to work, but it is fabulous. It's history. They have the code in there. You can just change a little out yourself and adapt it.
Can you give some examples of how you use generative AI for case studies to provide localized context?
Well, one of the things that I do in terms of my public relations classes is I have case studies where students do they only have class time to do it. So I create a little scenario and then they have to solve that public relations problem. So it's usually something that's focused on internal communications or maybe media relations. So this past year, we did something with Bernie's Bulk Warehouse, which is like Sam's, but not. So, changing a name could be something that would, do that. So changing a name, the description of maybe what that was like. You could say tailored to this particular audience. So much of generative AI is about the prompts that you write. And so if you don't like your first pass, there's nothing wrong with that. You can go in and edit your prompt. And then that will maybe give you something that is more like what you're looking for.
The next question is addressing accessibility. Specifically, what are you doing for blind students?
Um, not anything. Right now we do not have any blind students. So I am not doing anything for blind students at this point. And since I'm not really well versed in accessibility issues, I'm not sure how to answer that. I do know that I have talked to quite a few of our students who do not read and have told them, there are AI tools for you to take your textbooks and read them out loud, podcast style.
Couple more questions. This one is going to be an easy one. What's the name of the tool, the Norwegian tool that you mentioned?
I will have to look that up and I will put it in the notes section.
Perfect. And then the last question right now in the chat is, have you encountered pushback from colleagues on using Gen AI on creating supplemental materials?
No, I haven't. As a matter of fact, they've been like, "Oh my gosh, you can do that." Uh, they were surprised. Some people still, they think that what they create is going to be far superior, and actually, they're so again, full transparency. My teaching is predominantly public relations and journalism. I took a public relations training thing in the spring of this past year, and what the woman found, and it was all about assessment. And so what she found in terms of how well things do, there's been research that shows people respond this way to just completely AI, this way to a person, but the best is a combination of the two. So it's generative AI with somebody who's a person looking at that content and making those tweaks and changes. And that's a better, faster way to get people to respond.
All
Do
right.
you believe
Yeah, I was gonna say another one came in. Do you believe students are really learning when they can take a question, insert the question into AI, and it generates an answer?
I don't necessarily think they're really learning when they can do that. Um, I also think it's a really good way for them to realize that maybe their answers aren't always correct. So I oftentimes will take something that I know AI is going to hallucinate and have them plug that question in. So an upper level journalism class and feature writing, we did a complete AI an assignment where, okay, let's go in here, do this, go to Chat GPT, have Chat GPT come up with five story ideas for Texas Wesleyan University, feature story ideas. And it came up with 5 feature story ideas. Well, everybody in the class did it. So the majority of the 5 were the same across everybody. And they were not all right. Some of them, the people were retired, they were no longer there. I mean, it wasn't, and it was real general, so they didn't give anything really specific. So it's good for them to be able to see that, yes, I can put this question in there and maybe the answer's right, maybe it's not. So it gives them a good opportunity to critically think whether or not AI is helping them. And that they need to learn because Siri isn't always right. And now she's going to talk to me.
Any other questions? All right. Thank you all so much for joining our session. I do want to let you know or remind you, if you've already heard this, that there is a discussion board available for you called Keep On OER Talkin' Texas and Beyond in our event site or event hub. It is under the discussions link under your community tab if you want to continue conversations there or bring up new conversations to talk with your colleagues and create that community. But again, if no one has any other questions, thank you all and have a great rest of the conference.
Thank you, everyone.